Is it video?
Sorry?
Is it video as well, or just audio?
Video as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So today, and this is BBL Lab Marcel Abbott, and today I'm with none other than Kofi Josephs. I've been wanting to make this one happen for a long time, and here we are. So how are you doing today?
What's up, bro? I'm all right, man. Just finished working out, trying to get back in shape, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. So something I've started doing. So to start off, I've got kind of a little couple of icebreakers. So the first one is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Superpower. I'd probably fly. I think I'd either fly or I'd be able to go back in time or something like that. Like time travel. Probably one of them two.
Okay, and the next one is, if you could have kind of a lunch with anyone, dead or alive, and anyone, who would it be, and why? And why would you want that conversation with them?
That's a tough one. I'd probably say it's either Nelson Mandela or Muhammad Ali, one of them two, just because they were iconic. But I think maybe Nelson Mandela, because what he went through, because obviously the way he was, how a lot of our generation knew him, he wasn't like that to begin with. Do you know what I mean? He was and then being locked up for your beliefs for that long and then coming out and being so peaceful, that's crazy. And I don't know if I could have done it. So I would have just and obviously I've seen his cell and what he had to do while he was living there and stuff. I just got so many questions.
Yeah. Okay, so now I guess for anyone that may not know, explain kind of who you are, what you do, and your background.
I'm used to saying professional basketball player, but I'm still, you know what? I'm still hooping, still professional basketball player. Kofi Josephs, represent England, Commonwealth Games, Great Britain seniors. Been playing professional now for 5 years. Currently a full-time model, artist, author, and what else do I do? I don't know, a bunch of other stuff, but pretty much.
Yeah, doing it all. So growing up in Birmingham, how did you kind of first get into basketball?
To be honest, I used to do every other sport but football. So when I was young, I used to swim for my region. I used to swim for West Midlands. I was a brown belt in Kung Fu. And I was just interested in a lot of stuff. I didn't really know about basketball because Rome, basketball is not really big like that, especially 20 years ago. So I was at school. One of my mentors, I got kicked out of class, and he was 6'5", and he used to play basketball. He was really into it. And then in the playground, he gave me a ball. I was about to boot it over the fence, and then he was now throw it at the backboard. So I just underarmed it. First shot went in. I was like, all right. And then every playtime after that, we just hang out on the playground and just play basketball. Each day I learned more and more about it. And my love for it just grew like that.
Yeah, well, you knew, going from the underarm shot, you'd be one of the, most, well-known shooters in Britain. But yeah. So,
crazy.
Yeah, so you mentioned kind of, Birmingham, and it's not, basketball isn't particularly big in Birmingham. There's still got a lot of good players coming out of Birmingham. So I guess, do you feel that the basketball scene is kind of underrated, or how do you feel about the basketball scene in Birmingham?
I think it's a bit of a mad one, because back in the day, in the 80s and 90s, Birmingham basketball was really big. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was winning the league, and that's when the league was really tough as well. And then it kind of had a decline, the Bullets, they was doing all right, and then there was a decline, and obviously then we had the Birmingham Panthers and the Knights and all that stuff. And I think everyone in Birmingham, instead of trying to do it as a collective, decided they all wanted to do their own thing, and that kind of broke the city up. And then it just kind of went downhill from there. But we've always had talented players, always. It's just we haven't really had one talented team, because we've got so many the place. And it's kind of we've got more of a London mentality, but we're not as big as London, so we don't need to have so many youth teams and different professional teams. Like we can all come together. Do you know what I mean? But I think that's the downfall for the city. But we've always had talented players. You can see it. Do you know what I mean? Players go everywhere and do their thing. So it's never really been that we ain't had hoopers. It's just more
Yeah, so I guess as a whole, in your whole basketball career, where's been like your favorite, I guess arena, like one individual arena, or your favorite team to play for?
My favorite arena to probably have played in.
Yeah.
I would say either the University of Wyoming when we went there in college, or our Great Britain preliminary eurobasket game where we played against Greece in Patras in Greece against like their national team, and they had like their whole squad was playing other than Giannis. I'm talking all the guys that play for like Olympiacos, Panathinaikos, all them guys. So, and it was rocking in there too. I'm talking, it was hot.
Yeah, but your European, like, proper European fans are like, they're crazy, aren't they? Yeah.
And I loved it because I hadn't experienced that yet. I hadn't done anything internationally, like for my country. So that was good. And obviously a lot of those guys, when I was playing in Germany, I was watching online. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So playing against them in an atmosphere like that, I'd probably say that was probably one of my favorites.
Yeah, so it's kind of a good segue to my next question. So you did a year in Iceland, and I remember seeing all the kind of it was in the Euros, and I saw a clip for the Eurobasket. Kind of the Viking clap. And I said, did you ever experience? Did the fans ever kind of do anything like that in league games? In like what were fans like in Iceland basically?
They were. I wasn't there for too long, but the fans were really good, man. They love basketball out there. Yeah. They're really Americanized in Iceland, like, which was quite surprising. So they're really diehard basketball fans, and they're really supportive of their league. And they have quite a lot of Icelandic players that play in the league, national team players as well. So, and because the country is not too big, all the fans know the players. So every team has probably got like one or two, or maybe 3 or 4 like national team players. So their support is crazy. So I never experienced nothing too crazy, but obviously when you're going head to head with like a national team player, they're not supporting you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good, man. They're definitely very supportive. The language is crazy, especially when they're shouting it and stuff, if you've never heard it before. But yeah, it's fun.
So something I found, in a lot of the European countries, it's more like football fans are over here. It's it seems very tribal, and I've always kind of wanted to be in a crowd, but obviously never managed to. But yeah, it looked sick. But yeah, so then you return to Worcester, you return to England. So what made you want to return to the BBL?
I've been living nomad life since I was like 17. So I left home at like 17. I was in America for like 7 years. Then I've been darting around Europe. Before I even went to Iceland, I was in Switzerland. No, yeah, I was in Switzerland. And then right after Iceland in the same season, I was in Sweden. So in one season, I was in 3 different countries. And when you bounced all over the world and stuff for like almost 12 years, you just, I don't know, for me personally, I was a bit over it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Case. And professional basketball so up and down and stuff, you just don't know. You're always low-key on edge. And I just needed a little bit of peace. And obviously I do quite a lot of stuff off the court, and I felt it would have been a little bit better for me to be at home. And like, I love going, to be honest, I love going to the cinema. I love it. I went and watched James Bond last night. And when you're in these foreign countries, bro, do you know how hard it is to just go to the cinema? Like, just something off the court that's peaceful for you.
Yeah.
Small stuff like that. So that was like another factor why I wanted to return home.
Okay. So also, whilst you're at Worcester, you won the BBL Cup, and you played, in Birmingham, in front of, I think it was something like 10,000. So how was it kind of playing, in your hometown and winning the cup?
That was lit.
Yeah.
Because I was considering offers and stuff, but Worcester was nice. Obviously, I haven't played at home since I was probably under 16s, and this was my first time close. And obviously in the league, we don't have a BBL team in Brom. So Worcester's like basically the closest.
Yeah.
So that was another factor. But to be able to have the trials and tribulations that we had a new coach, we had a whole new team. Everyone wrote us off, said we was too young, inexperienced, blah, blah, blah. And then to go through the ups and downs and beat, like, we had a really tough run just to the final. Like, we had Newcastle and we had Leicester, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Went in the final. I'm sure we had like London as well. Like, I think we might have beat them. And I think at the time, Royals was still
Yeah, they were.
The league was tough, and we was going head to head with a lot of those teams, and we did really well. So for such a young, inexperienced team to be able to go through all that, and then Bristol was our nemesis as well. Do you know what I mean? Our big rival throughout the whole year. So to have them in the final was lovely. I didn't like them guys. Obviously, some of them were to beat them in my city where I'm from, in front of like 10k people on BBC for my first ever pro championship. Can't get no better, I'd say. Yeah. And then obviously the season went downhill after that because of COVID, but I think we won just at the right time.
Yeah, sick. Yeah, I can't imagine the feeling. So, but yeah. So obviously, you mentioned being a model, and it seems, is that kind of like your main kind of focus at the minute?
Yeah and no. So it's a tough one. So many people ask me this question now. Like, have you retired? Have you quit? I'm like, I still work out. I just don't post it as much because
yeah.
I don't really need to. Like, modeling's my new thing that I'm pushing, and I'm doing really well at it. So that's more so what you're seeing on socials, and the way people are now. If you don't post it on socials, it didn't happen.
It's not happening. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, what in Manchester at the professional like scrimmages and stuff, the professionals, they know I'm still hooping, I'm still doing my thing because they see it, you know what I mean? But yeah, I plan on getting back playing professional, but I just need more of a life balance now. I think dedicating like 20 years of my life to basketball and nothing else. I think I've definitely paid my dues, and I've got other interests, and I think it would be good to definitely tap into them if I can do them at an elite level also. Do you know what I mean? It's more about being a complete person and having more strings to your bow, because I know a lot of athletes, when they retire, they've got nothing else.
Yeah, saying that, yeah.
They are, do you know what I mean? Because all they did was play basketball for like 25 years, then they don't play anymore and they're stuck. I don't want to be that. So definitely just trying to find more of a life balance with things that I enjoy. And basketball's still one of them. Like, I still work out now and I've got no team. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just one of them ones, I think.
Okay. So being a model, I guess you kind of hear things, and I've heard models sometimes, I can imagine it depends on where, what agency or whatever, don't get treated particularly well. So my question is, how have your experience, as a model been?
Mine's been great, It's weird. I'm like a COVID model because I got scouted during COVID when nothing was really going on, which was like a weird time. But yeah, I've got treated really well with one of the top agencies in Manchester. I've got a really big agency in London for Premier Boys, and they do like London Fashion Week, Burberry, all that stuff. Our agency in Germany, which is pretty big, to do like H&M's, Lando, all that stuff. So for considering I've only been modeling a year this month, I'm doing pretty well, because a lot of the models that I meet, they've been modeling 5, 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm like 9 months, 10 months in there, like, what? I'm doing well, it's consistent, and to be doing well during COVID is a big deal. Do you know what I mean? Especially, So yeah, man, like, I've got a great agency, great bookers, all the brands I've worked with are great, paid on time. Yeah, to be honest, it's kind of like professional basketball. It's just different. Like, I take pictures for a living now rather than bounce a ball, but it has its own trials and tribulations. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah, well, it's I guess it's 6th here, it's going well. So one of my questions as well is, because, with, you always say kind of with college, making the change to being a pro. What are like how did you find the transition from, playing in college and then, going into the pro basketball world?
I struggled, only because I was trying to rush the process. Like a lot of pros, a lot of college kids in their heads, they know exactly where they want to get to, but they try to skip the steps. So each season is a very long season. Do you know what I mean? Like you sign in September, August, September, it's your first year. You have a very long season and a lot can happen in 9 months. But you're thinking, I got to play well today because I'm trying to be on a new team by next week. I'm trying to be jumping a league up by next month. I'm trying to get paid more. I'm trying to do this. And like put so much pressure on yourself where you just end up burning yourself out. It's a long season. And that, for the first 3 months, that was tough for me in Germany. And then eventually I just said, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean? I'm just gonna go and play ball. Like a lot of hoopers think like the world will end if you don't get signed or if you don't get paid or if you have a bad game. Do you know what I mean? And it really won't. Like I've learned that, and I'm not even hooping now, and I make probably more money now than hooping. Do you know what I mean? So I'm and that was like my main source of income. But I think that's what a lot of young hoopers experience. And for me, I just needed to relax because I'm really high strung. Like I know where I want to go. I'm driven. I'll do whatever it takes. Sometimes take your foot off the gas. Do you know what I mean? Press harder. Sometimes makes it worse. Do you know what I mean? So I think that was it for me. But once I relaxed, I started playing a lot better in the second half of that season. And I think that's when I started to get looks from like GB and other leagues and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, I guess, how you said about pressing harder can make it worse. I guess it's similar to even in an individual game when, like don't force it, kind of just kind of, let it come to you. So I guess it's that similar kind of idea. So, but they're all my questions, and here we've got questions that have been sent in. So the first one is, who throughout your whole career, who's been your favorite player to play with?
Man, probably whoever passed me the ball the most. One of my favorite players to play with. There's loads, and I'm known when I end up pissing people off. I enjoyed playing with Mark Hughes at Worcester. He's a killer, but he's just so chilled and smooth. And I think we complemented each other well because we both do like a lot of the same things. I enjoy playing with four players because he always found me, and like when I was not feeling confident, stayed with me. I enjoy playing with Kieran Achara because like he's just big bro. Do you know what I mean? Like we got on since we met at GB and stuff, and he just guided me a lot. So even on the court, like teaching me more so veteran stuff and just talking to me about the game, do you know what I mean, and how to look at it differently. So I'd say it's going to have to be probably about between them three. But I know everyone else. Like I love playing with everyone, so
you'll be getting DMs from players saying, why didn't you say me? So obviously that's to play with. Who's been the toughest, or I guess your favorite player to guard?
Favorite player to guard? Cooked me. You know who there's probably guys out in Europe, but I think one of my favorite players to guard was Papa Nicolau from Olympiacos when I was at GB. I think only because he's massive, like for how agile he is, bro. Like at that level, when you're 6'8" or 6'9", these guys can move, they're like shooting guards and small forwards, do you know what I mean, at that level. Wow. And I think he was one of my favorite players just to watch in general when I was playing in Germany as a rookie. Then 6 months later, I'm guarding him in Greece, do you know what I mean? And he's like, hey, what's up, man? And I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? But then I'm but we're competitors, but also, what's up, bro? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've learned is from watching you and studying your game. Do you know what I mean? So I think that was probably it, because part of the time I felt like I was already watching tape on him before I even got to play him because he's one of my players. So I think, probably, he's up there.
Sick. So that's me done. But before we go, is there anything in the pipeline that any projects or anything that you want to promote or anything like that?
I'm gonna be back.
Okay. Can't wait. I've seen a lot of people asking questions, but that's great to hear. Yeah,
I'm gonna be back. That's the plan. Just getting ready. So we'll see what happens.
it's